You're standing in a store. You weren't looking for anything special. And then, across the aisle, there's a baby in a cart, and your whole face just changes. You lean in, you make some ridiculous sound you would never make in front of another adult. You forget for a second that you're in public. And then the weird part happens. The baby looks right at you, not past you, at you, like it already knows you somehow. Now here's what's interesting. Not everyone does this. Some people glance at the baby, give a polite smile, and keep walking. Nothing. No pull, no feeling. But you felt something in your chest. So what is that feeling? And what does it actually say about who you are? And you know what's even more interesting? That feeling you just felt, reading that, you've felt it before, many times. Be honest with yourself for a second. You've slowed down in a grocery store because a baby in a cart was staring at you. You've made eye contact with a stranger's kid at a restaurant and spent the next 10 minutes playing peekaboo when you were supposed to be eating. You've watched baby videos at midnight, not because you were sad, not because you were bored, just because it felt good. Maybe you even said it out loud. I just love babies. I don't know why. But here's the thing. You do know why. You just haven't thought about it yet. Because people who love babies this way, they share something, a specific set of emotional patterns that show up quietly in small moments without you even noticing. And once you see those patterns in yourself, you'll understand something about your own personality that probably no one has ever pointed out to you directly. This isn't about being baby crazy. It's about who you actually are inside. But here's where it gets interesting, because this isn't just one-sided. Think about the last time a baby reached for you, or calmed down when you held them, or just stared at you like you were the most fascinating thing in the room. That didn't happen by accident. Babies are not easy to fool. They don't respond to everyone the same way. Some people pick them up and the baby immediately starts crying. Others hold them and the baby goes completely still, calm, comfortable, safe. And with certain people, they just light up. Research shows that babies read emotional safety before they understand a single word. They're not looking at your face. They're feeling your nervous system. Think of it like a Wi-Fi signal. The baby is constantly scanning, and some people just have a stronger, cleaner connection. So, if babies consistently reach for you, that's not luck. That's your energy being read and approved. And what that says about the kind of person you've become, that's what we're getting into next. Here's something that most people never talk about. At some point in life, most adults stop being soft. Not because they decided to, but because life quietly trained them out of it. To toughen up, to stop feeling too much, to keep moving and not linger on small, tender things. You've probably seen it. People who used to be warm and somewhere along the way just closed. But then there are people like you, who still stop for babies, who still melt, who still feel that warmth rise up in their chest without even trying, in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday. That softness didn't disappear in you. It survived. Psychologists call this emotional openness, staying connected to tenderness even when the world hasn't always been tender back. Think of it like a candle you kept lit, through wind, through rain, through every hard season, and it's still burning. Most people don't even realize they blew theirs out, but you didn't. And the question worth asking isn't why you love babies. The real question is, how did you manage to stay this open? The answer might surprise you, because it's connected to something most people would never expect. Now here's the part that might actually stop you. Because if you think about the people who love babies the most, who light up the hardest, who feel it the deepest, you might assume they had soft, easy, protected lives. But that's not what you usually find. Often, it's the opposite. The people who love babies most intensely are frequently the ones who grew up fastest,
who had to be responsible early, who learned to hold things together before they were old enough to understand why, who didn't always get to be fully held or fully seen when they were small. You'd think that kind of childhood would make someone guarded, closed off, distant from anything vulnerable. But here's what actually happens. It creates someone who recognizes innocence the moment they see it. Someone who feels something shift inside when they're near something that is completely, purely safe to love. No conditions, no complications, no history. Research shows that people who experience emotional gaps early in life often develop the strongest nurturing instincts later. Think of it like this. The people who know what it means to be thirsty are the ones who never take water for granted. That baby reaching back towards you across the room? In that moment, something in you feels seen too. And that's not sad. That's one of the most quietly beautiful things about the way you're wired. But it goes even deeper than that, because the way you love babies, it's actually connected to the way you love everyone. Think about the people in your life who feel safest around you. Not the loudest relationships, not the most dramatic, the ones where someone just exhales when they're with you, where they say things they don't say anywhere else, where they feel like they don't have to perform or explain themselves. That's not a coincidence. People who love babies tend to love differently than most. Not louder, not more dramatically, but deeper. They notice small things. They remember how someone takes their coffee. They lose sleep over a text they sent that came out slightly wrong. They show up quietly, without announcing it, when someone actually needs them. And here's why. Because loving a baby teaches you something most relationships can't. A baby gives you nothing back. No compliments, no gratitude, no validation. It just exists, and you love it completely anyway. That kind of love, love with zero condition attached, is genuinely rare. Psychologists call this unconditional positive regard, caring for someone with no scorecard, no transaction, no what do I get in return. Think of it like charging someone's phone. Knowing they'll never know it was you, you do it anyway. Because that's just how you're built. You practice that every single time you hold baby and feel your whole body soften. That's not weakness. That's not being too sensitive. That is an emotional skill, a real one, and most people spend their whole lives never developing it. But here's the thing nobody actually tells you. Society doesn't really celebrate this part of you. The world gives trophies to ambition, to sharpness, to people who are driven and focused and always moving towards something bigger. That version of a person gets praised constantly. But the person who tears up at a baby's first laugh, the person who gets genuinely emotional watching a toddler figure out how to walk, the person who cries at a birth announcement for someone they barely know, that person just laughs it off. I'm so obsessed with babies, I'm ridiculous. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. You brush it off like it's nothing, like it's some small, embarrassing quirk. But what if that reaction, that instinct, is actually one of the most defining things about you? What if the part of you that loves babies is the exact same part that makes you a safe person to talk to, a patient friend, someone people gravitate towards without fully understanding why? The capacity to love something small and helpless with pure joy and zero resentment says more about your character than most people will ever realize. You don't have to shrink that part of yourself. Own it, seriously. So let's go back to where we started. You, a store, a baby in a cart across the aisle. You reach out, and the baby reaches back. 1 second. No words, no explanation needed. Just two people choosing each other across a room. That moment is so small. Most people walk past it without thinking twice. But you don't. And now you know why. You still believe in connection that isn't complicated, love that doesn't mean to be earned, warmth that doesn't come with conditions. You reach, and something reaches back. That's rarer than you think. In a world that teaches everyone to be guarded, to be strategic, to protect themselves first, you still reach. Don't stop doing that.
If something in this video felt like it was describing you,
The next video goes even deeper into the emotional patterns that shape the way you connect with people. You might find it explains something you've felt your whole life, but never had the words for.